Hi everybody, I want to do a short little video here showing you what I'm taking to Atlanta, Georgia Blade Show next weekend. I'm going to have a couple new prototypes with opening systems and locking mechanisms, but the main thing I'm doing this year is I'm bringing a lot of Cyclops knives. But what's different this year from last year is that they're all collaborations with other knife makers. So first let me show you how the Cyclops works. It's self-defense jewelry, so you wear it as a necklace. But when you need it, you just grab it and rotate it off, and now you have an open and locked blade. And there's a liner lock on the inside, so you just press the tab to unlock it, and then insert it on the bail and snap it in. And let me do this one more time. We'll do it slow, so you can see how the bail pulls the blade all the way to the open and locked position, and then it disengages. But what's really interesting about the Cyclops is that the front cover can look like anything. So I got this idea how it'd be cool to do a collaboration with other knife makers. So I would do all the internal machining for the lock and the stop pin, and then I left the front blank, and I sent this off to other knife makers, and then they put their own unique styling into the front, either carving it or engraving it, inlaying it, just doing whatever their unique style is into the front cover. So then the knife makers would send it back to me, and I'd assemble the knife. So this next part of the video, I'll do close-ups of each individual knife that I'm taking to blade this year, as well as mention who the knife maker was that collaborated with me. So I thought I'd start this part of the video off by showing the actual blank ring that I sent off to other knife makers. So you can see here how I did the internal machining on the lock and the pivot and the stop pins. But then other than that, the front is just totally blank. So this is what each knife maker started with. So this one here was done by Lee Williams. Lee was actually the first person that I collaborated with on this project. He did several others. This is the only one that I have left now. But this one, he inlaid a piece of meteorite into the front cover, and then he did his little jimping here that he does on the side. I also put each maker's name on a little data plate on the back. So there's the one that Lee Williams did. Okay, these next ones were done by Tashi out of Paris. This one here is pretty interesting, as the front really isn't that flashy, but the side of it has this cool bronze purple to it. So it's pretty subdued from the front, but then when you look at it from the side, it kind of has this nice little pizzazz to it. And then you can read here, it says Titanium Addict on the front, and then it also has this little purple bead. So Tashi ended up doing 3 rings. Here's the second one that he did. This one is a platinum record. You can see the little grooves going around it. And of course as well there's Tashi's name and his last name that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. And here's the third one that he did. This one's kind of cool, as it looks like a tachometer. You have the green to red, and each one is raised, so it gives it kind of a little bit of a depth to it. So there's the set that Tashi did. Alright, this next one here is done by Rudy Lala in Brazil. Rudy probably doesn't need too much of an introduction. He's an amazing titanium carver. You can see here he carved the 3-dimensional flames there. I don't know how easy it is to see in the video here, but it has this really cool kind of pinkish, bluish anodizing to it. So there's the one from Rudy Lala. So this next one is by Flavio Icoma, a Brazilian knife maker. An amazing carver. You can just see the detail, like it looks real. But that's actually just carved titanium. Yeah, amazing work from Flavio. So this next one is done by Gustav from Brazil of GTC Knives. And Gus just does amazing clean work. You can definitely see his style here. He had actually done 3 in this set, but I've already sold 1, so I only have 2 left for this video. This one here gets the most attention when it's being worn, just because of the way it reflects light as you walk. But again, just super sharp, crisp lines. This next one here is done by Shane Taylor out of Montana. Shane did an amazing job on this one. Let me see if we can zoom in here a little bit. Of course, it's just anodized gold, but it actually looks like there's gold inlaid in this. And on that blue background, it just looks really cool. So again, yeah, that was Shane Taylor. So these next 2 are from Tom Ferry. And this is just amazing work. Just the detail. I don't even know if I can get close enough to see how really amazing that is. I was just blown away when I got this one in the mail. Tom has done 2 of them so far, but he has 1 more that he's finishing up for me. And then this one, which is equally as cool, it's kind of the 3-dimensional basket weave pattern there. Let's see how close I can get to that. Tom does all this stuff under a loop, but the detail is just amazing. Alright, this next set is from Alan Foltz out of Florida, and he did a really cool job on this one. This is a pattern that I've seen on some of his other knives. Just like the way it reflects. Alan ended up doing 3 in the set. This one here kind of has a steampunk look to it. It's all hand carved. You can see the little sprockets and chains. This is right up my alley. And then the last one here that Alan did, everybody seems to think it kind of has a Mayan look to it. I'm more into the transformer look, but maybe a Mayan transformer. So this video wouldn't be complete without showing the Mantis version of the Cyclops knife. This actually came in 6 different colors. This particular one was one we put together for just a sample to show how the carbon fiber would look. The next version, the Cyclops 2, is actually going to have carbon fiber front and back. So there's the Cyclops from Mantis. So this next knife is one that I was talking about earlier in the video. It's a new mechanism that we're bringing to the show. It's actually an old design of ours. My dad designed this about 12-13 years ago, about the time we were just getting into folding knives. Well, actually this was his first folding design. But the problem was that it was too intricate and complicated for us to make at the time, so we switched and started making simpler mechanisms. But what's interesting about this one is that all you do to open it is you slide this back, and then to close it, you push it forward. So what's going on here is there's a toggle mechanism similar to the Toad or the ET. Actually, the Toad was based off of this knife. The Toad was a simpler version of this. So this slide here, this plate, is manipulating those 2 studs there through the cam tracks, and then that's manipulating this point right up here, which is attached to the toggle. So that's what's opening and closing the knife. Let's see if we can get the whole thing in there. This next knife is a new flipper that I've been working on. The way it works here, of course, is you flip it open. But then to close it, you get a hold of this pin here and you pull back and then let go, and it closes itself. And you can actually open and close it that same way. Now it looks like it's an axis lock, but it's actually quite a bit different. You can see this pin actually never hits the tang of the blade. The only reason this bar goes all the way across is to make the knife ambidextrous. The mechanism is actually hiding underneath of the handle overlay.